Alrighty, I figured I would film a little update video because I haven't been filming anything the last few days because I haven't been doing anything. Basically when I got to White Pass, and then especially when I woke up the next morning and realized that I was getting even more sick. I'm still a little sick, but at that point for a couple days I was really feverish and like dizzy and weak, and I had hoped to just skip from White Pass to Chinook and keep hiking into Snoqualmie, but I essentially realized, particularly because I know for me colds typically last like a full week, I knew that that wouldn't actually really work out. I didn't want to be hiking while I was sick in general, but in particular, feverish and dizzy and weak. It didn't seem smart. It also didn't seem fun. I don't want to be miserable. Um, I am not really out here to prove anything to myself. Even if I was, I kind of already did that on the AT, so I don't feel that need as much as some folks do. And so I essentially figured that I should try to find a ride to Snoqualmie. And part of that is because I have deadlines at this point. I have a plane ticket booked, but I also have an interview, which is going to be tomorrow, that I needed to be in town for, and that I really cared about. And so if this had happened earlier in the hike, I could have just hung out in the place that I got sick and then continued on, and it wouldn't have been a big deal because I didn't have a deadline. But at this point, I do. And so I figured that was my best bet, and I was a little worried about trying to find a ride because it's a 2 hour and 15-minute car ride. It is a rather big skip, but there are no roads really between Chinook and Snoqualmie, and there's no really towns. To me, it seems like the only thing that made sense. I was talking to my friend Big Rig at White Pass, and she was like, "Oh, I have a friend who's going to be here in a couple hours who has a car," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And I guess Tin Man, he was through hiking, or he had started to through hike this year and had to get off trail due to injury, uh, and so now he's kind of driving around and supporting hikers and stuff like that. And so, uh, oh, excuse me, sorry. After talking to him and after a day or two, he was headed to Snoqualmie anyway, and so he was gracious enough to give me a ride, wouldn't accept any of my money, which was remarkable because if not that, I probably would have had to pay a trail angel from a Facebook group or something, probably over $100 to drive me, and that's a conservative estimate. And so I really lucked out with that. There were two other hikers who also got that ride. I don't really remember why. And then I've been in Snoqualmie for a few days now, and I kind of splurged and got a hotel room for the whole time because I needed it anyway for the day of my interview for sure, or I wanted it. But then it's comforting when you feel like crap, and I have, I have money left over, so I kind of splurged on that, and I've really just been hanging out here, prepping for the interview, doing some chores, but really just trying to rest and recover. And tomorrow's my interview, and then the day after that, I'll leave and get back on trail. But basically, yeah, I just wanted to give an update. That's what I've been up to. I'm not super happy about skipping from White Pass to Snoqualmie, skipping White Pass to Chinook. That section now is closed anyway, from a fire that was relatively small when I got to White Pass and now is 2,000 acres. Um, so, but I didn't really want to do a skip that big, especially not this late in the game. I've loved Washington. I wanted to see all of Washington. Um, but for me, my priorities were getting better and also making the interview and having that work out relatively smoothly. So I do think that I made the best choice based on what my priorities were. And I don't, I don't feel bad about it, but I didn't really want it to go that way. But yeah, I'm mostly over the cold. You can probably hear I've got a little bit of it still, but I'm definitely feeling a lot better. So yeah, I'll keep making videos once I'm back on trail, but I'm not going to make a video tomorrow because, like I said, I've just been hanging out. It's not much to see.